Hello and welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we're going to take a look at the newly updated Tradespeople settings. To access your Tradespeople administrative settings, click the Company tab here in the top navigation bar, and then under the Resources section, select Tradespeople. Here you'll find a list of the most commonly used tradespeople in the construction trades, along with their recommended rates and both default and project rates that you can use within the Price a Job system to calculate your estimates. There's also a regional map of the US that will automatically modify all of these rates depending on the region that you're working in. For example, a bricklayer in Illinois might expect $25 an hour, whereas in Colorado, the going rate might be closer to $28. And you can use these recommendations as a guideline for calculating your estimates in any region of the US. Under the system rates, you have both default and project rates. The default rate will be used for every new project that you open, and these rates will be used to calculate your various labor costs for each module. Project rates, on the other hand, can be modified for an existing project for one-off exceptions. When you adjust your project rates, and then click Update Project, only the currently loaded project will have its rates affected. All other new projects that you create will automatically use the default rate. So for example, let's take a look at our current estimate that we're working on. We can see that we have a subtotal of $92,000 before taxes, and this includes all of the labor for the various modules here provided by a wide assortment of tradespeople. Now let's go back to our Company tab and back to Tradespeople in the Resources section. And let's change a few of our project rates. Let's change Bricklayer Journeyman to $20 an hour, Carpenter Framing to $20 per hour, Electrician Journeyman to $20 per hour, and General Laborer to $10 per hour. Now if we consult our estimate, we see that our subtotal has not changed at all. It's still $92,000 subtotal before taxes. And the reason for that is that we didn't update our project. So let's go back to Company, back to Tradespeople, and we have to click this button here, Update Project, to update our quote. So go ahead and click that, and the project rates have now been applied. Now we can check our estimate, and instead of $92,000, our subtotal is now $88,000 before taxes. To revert back to the default settings, we can click on the Company tab, go back to Tradespeople under the Resources section, and either manually change each of the rates that we've already overridden, or as a shortcut, we can just use this Copy Rates function here. Here we can copy the recommended rates to our default rates, and these are the recommended rates by region. So as we change from, for example, from Illinois to Colorado, we can see the recommended rate changes, but not the default rate. We can also copy the recommended rates to the project rates, or the default rates to the project rates. So since in this case we want to revert our project rates back to the default, let's go ahead and copy default rates to project rates. And all current project prices will be copied from my default prices, so we can agree to that. And now our project rates now reflect the default rates, ignoring the regionally recommended rates. And again, we have to update project for that to take effect. And now we can take a look at our estimate, and we can see that our subtotal has reverted back to $92,000. Now, if we prefer to use those regionally adjusted rates, we can do that as well. Let's go back to Company tab, back to Tradespeople under Resources, and let's say this worksite is in Colorado, and we're going to have to adjust our rates to meet the regional expectations. So to do that, we can just go back to Copy Rates, and this time we're going to copy Recommended to our project rates, and we can agree to that. And here we can see our project rates have now increased from $25 an hour to closer to $28 for that same bricklayer, as well as for the framers, the electricians, and the general laborers. All these rates have all gone up. So again, we'll update our project, check our estimate, and now we can see our subtotal has increased to $95,000 before taxes. Now, if you're going to be performing this exact same job in a different region, you can easily duplicate the project just by saving it as a new version. So let's open the project details window here by clicking the three dots up on the top, or we can also access this by clicking the cog icon down here in the bottom left. And then we'll select the Versions tab. And from here, we'll select Add a Version, and we'll copy existing. Right now, we're working from version 2, so we'll keep that selected and Create. And let's take a note here. We'll just make a note. This is version 2. And we'll do this one in Illinois. And maybe we'll put a note here that this is in Colorado. Okay, now let's switch to version 4 and close our project details window. And now we can go back to our company tab, back to tradespeople under resources. And now we will change our region to Illinois. And our recommended rates change, but our project rates have not yet. So to update our project rates, what we have to do is go to copy rates. And again, copy recommended to project rates and agree. And remember to update the project. And the project rates have now been applied. So when we go to estimate, we can see now that our subtotal for this version of the project is $92,000. And if we want to compare that to our other version, let's go back to project details, go back to versions. So here's version 4 in Illinois. Our subtotal is $92,000. If we compare that to version 2 in Colorado, our subtotal is $95,000 for the exact same job. So let's close this project details window and go back to our company tab and go back to our tradespeople page. And we'll notice that all of these rates are posted in hourly rates. If we prefer to see this displayed as daily rates, we can simply select here at the top and choose hourly versus daily. And there's a note here that lets us know that the day rate is based on an 8-hour day. And we can see that all of our rates have been multiplied by 8 to arrive at a daily rate. So this bricklayer for $25 an hour is now making $200 a day, which is 25 times 8 hours. In addition to these most commonly used tradespeople, you can also add new tradespeople or teams. And we can do that by clicking the Add New button here in the top right corner. And if there's a tradespeople that you'll be using that's not in the list already, you can add that here. Or perhaps you're subcontracting a team that you'll be paying one combined rate. For example, 1 carpenter plus 2 laborers. And we can set that team price at $50 an hour and save. And now this new tradesperson category has been added, currently showing their daily rate. We can switch that to hourly to see the $50 an hour that we set for this team, 1 carpenter and 2 laborers. And if you need to change these rates, say you're able to get the team for just $45 per hour, you can just simply click on the price and manually modify the default rate. We'll say $45. And this will affect any new projects that we open. But if we want it to affect this current project, we'll have to change our project rate to $45 an hour and then update our project. We haven't actually inserted this team into any of our labor estimates yet, so this won't actually affect our total cost on our current estimate. And if you've created a team previously that you'll no longer be using, you can simply remove it from the table by clicking the Delete button here. And then confirm the deletion, and that team is removed from the table. A couple of important points that should be emphasized is if you copy any rates to your project rate, only your current estimate will be affected. None of your other saved jobs will be affected when you update this project rate, only the current estimate. Likewise, when you change your default rates, this becomes the new default. None of your previously existing quotes will be affected. They will continue to use the selected default or project rates that were in place when you made that module and generated that estimate. However, any new projects you create will use the new default rate. Now, another way to save on costs is to reassign some tasks to a general laborer as opposed to a specialized tradesperson. And to do that, we can look here under the resources section and select labor. And here we see a list of all the various labor descriptions in the Price a Job library. Beside each task is the recommended tradesperson to perform that task. However, we can select the drop-down menu beside these tradespeople and reassign this task, apply finish coat of stucco, as opposed to assigning this to a stucco installer. We can instead look through the list of tradespeople and assign this task to a general laborer. And now anytime this task is called upon in any of our estimation modules, it will be automatically assigned to a general laborer rather than the higher paid stucco installer. And you can use this method to help cut down on some of your labor costs. To revert back, simply select the drop-down menu again, find the appropriate tradesperson, and assign that task to a stucco installer. And that's how to manage your tradespeople rates. Thank you for using Price a Job.